there came a time a couple of years ago that pretty much was like the world closing down, where I had to make a choice, and I chose to leave. I had to walk away from that career, and I'd been in that place for 25 years, and I think it was one of the hardest decisions that I ever had to make. But I knew that in my heart it was the right thing.
Hey, Brave Soul, it's your friend Chrystal. Welcome back to Her Brave Story podcast. Conversations that spark courage, heal, and celebrate the brave in every woman. Because women's stories matter. If we haven't met yet, I'm Chrystal Dawn, saltwater mama, woman-centered life coach, and storyteller. 6 years ago, I rebuilt my life from the ground up with a newborn in my arms. Now, I help women do the same. To reclaim their power, soften into who they truly are, and create a life that they love. Each week, we sit in circle with artists, adventurers, entrepreneurs, and everyday change makers, women who face the hard stuff, just like you, and are finding new ways to live with purpose, passion, and play. This podcast is your invitation into a circle of women's voices where you'll find connection, courage, and insight to help you grow, heal, and rise. Whether you're starting over or stepping into something new, you belong here. Today's guest is the incredibly warm and wise Vicki Schaefer, an early childhood educator, children's yoga and yoga therapy teacher, accredited mindfulness coach, and the founder of Little Wise One. Vicki has spent over 3 decades nurturing young hearts and minds. Her story is filled with so much love, courage, and synchronicity. From a pinky promise she made with her sister to walking away from a secure job during one of the most uncertain times in history and trusting that something more aligned was waiting, she shares some of her favorite tools for mindfulness, kindness, emotional self-regulation. This episode is a beautiful reminder that it's never too late to begin again, and that even the smallest acts of intention and love can create ripples that last a lifetime. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome, Vicki Schaefer. Thank you so much for being here on Her Brave Story, for joining us today. Sincerely appreciate you creating the time and the space to do so.
Thank you so much for having me. I think this is so exciting and a very big brave step for me.
For you and me both. It's going to be wonderful, and I can't wait to dive in. We've begun this episode with me sharing a bit about you. I'd love to hear from you, Vicki, about yourself and about Little Wise One.
Sure. Okay, so Little Wise One came about a few years ago, and many years when in teaching preschool, parents at the end of the year would say, I wish I had a take-home pack of the things that you've taught my children. And I always thought I would do something. There was something on my heart, and I never got around to it. And it wasn't until I sat sitting with my sister, who a few years before she left our earth, that we did a pinky promise, and she made me promise that I would do something in her honor. Now I'm going to cry. And so that's how Little Wise One was born. We made that promise to each other. She promised that she would stay close, and I promised that I would do something. A few months later, I had a dream, and it was a conversation that I'd had with my sister Taryn, and word for word. And I woke up the next morning with clarity and vision. I remember getting a big piece of butcher paper out, putting it on the table, and instead of writing a book, I thought affirmations came to hand. So that's how it started. And she's been divinely guiding me and our family since.
Wow, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she was a part of that whole process for you.
Yes. So the name, the feather on the logo is for her and my mum, my 2 angels. So that's where that came about. And Little Wise One is the wisdom that the children inherit that all here on this earth. So that all came as a download as well.
And this for anybody who doesn't know is part of Little Wise One.
Yes.
For those who are new to your work, or anybody who doesn't know yet about your work, Vicki, can you let them know what is Little Wise One and who's Vicki Schaefer behind the scenes of Little Wise One?
Little Wise One is about educating and nurturing hearts of children. So it's about helping teach them how to deal with their emotions. It's actually evolved quite a lot since I started with the cards. Just after we'd done the cards, maybe a year or two later, we'd also done, when I say we, my two daughters helped me as well. So we're a bit of a team. We've done a Discovering the Wisdom Within journal for for 7 to 12-year-olds. And that was last year, the year before we launched that. So that was really exciting too. Yeah, and now I do movement and mindfulness classes for children.
How I met you, Vicki, was through social media, was through following the beautiful workshops that you have with children, the mindfulness and the movement, the creative movement that you involve with children. So that's how we found each other, I believe, and our commonality of surfing too, which is that's salty sisterhood.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of always find these salty sisters out there who have a similar kindredness to life, to living in this, I want to say, conscious way.
Mm-hmm.
And something that was always really attractive to me about you is that you're the embodiment of mindfulness, that it's something that's fully embodied.
Yeah, it's just a whole new way of life. I actually thought I was being incredibly a mindful person, but I did mindfulness course, and it taught me so much more than I ever imagined it would. It's just a whole new way of being now. So it's gifted my life, put it that way, as far as the way I live.
I love that so much. And it shows in the work that you do and how you show up in the world and how you show up with children too. You're very present and grounded and joyful. I'd say something about you I've really treasured is that you're joyful about things in your life. And can you tell us has it always been a part of your life?
Yeah, so I have, many years ago, I used to teach kinder dance with children in the community. I taught kindy gym. I taught swimming lessons for children. So I've always been part of that teaching and educating children. And then when my children were older, I went into the early childhood as a teacher, as an educator into the preschools. I still wanted to do what I do, so I taught dancing and movement through those programs at schools in the preschool. Then there came a time a couple of years ago that pretty much it was like the world closing down, where I had to make a choice, and I chose to leave. So I had to walk away from that career, and I'd been in that place for 25 years, and I think it was one of the hardest decisions that I ever had to make. But I knew that in my heart it was the right thing. My identity as a person and within the community were all tied up in that one job. So it was incredibly hard. At the time, I was my children were older, so they didn't rely on me, but I still was their main support person as a single parent. So there was a lot of things I had to take into place. But I remember people saying, "I'm crazy. What are you going to do? You're on your own." But I knew, I sat there with the children one day and I was teaching them body autonomy, and we were singing, my body is mine, it belongs to me. And they were looking back at me and I'm trying to teach them this song. And I just knew with every ounce of my being that I was gone, I'm out. So I left and it was really scary. But I just had a lot of faith that I would be okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly brave to take that risk as well. Can you help us unpack that? Because you had been in there for 2 decades plus before this. You had a reliable, steady job. You had raised your family through this. It had given you a lot of security and also deep meaning, I can imagine, through the work. And plus working with families, getting to know them, seeing them, all of these things. What was it for you about that moment? Was it the words? Was it some other thing that came over you? Or how did you make such a big decision to step back from that?
I think I've never been like being told what to do. So basically, and especially something as far as my own health. And I knew from the beginning it wasn't for me. And we were huge, how did we put it? There was a lot of pressure. And I know a lot of educators at the time who's decided to stay, but they were seeing counsellors. It was incredibly, incredibly hard. Everyone gets to choose though, and everyone has a different story. I know the people that that I had met after I had left were in alignment with me, and they made the same choice as me, and it actually opened up the world to be a lot kinder and a lot more aligned with who I was and how I wanted to live. Yeah.
Just for reference, though, that anyone coming into this conversation can know, we're really referencing COVID. Is that
Yes,
is that right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, COVID and the lockdown periods here in Australia in particular.
Yeah, and the mandates. Yeah.
And the mandates. I know for a lot of people, COVID was something that had so many changes in it. And as I hear you say, it was something that you felt deeply was going to happen, wasn't something that was hard to choose.
Not for me. It was hard because I knew what would happen, the ripples of when I left. I had to take those into consideration. But I knew no matter what that I was going. But that was just the way it was. So it was a matter of pretty much getting a plan in place and saying, okay, this is when I'm leaving. This is when I was told to leave. I had a certain date that I had to be gone by, which was incredibly hard as well, which was before the end of the year. So I didn't get to say goodbye to my little charges for that year. I mean, there was a lot of things. The community were incredibly supportive and very, very kind. It was just a new way of life for me. So I was really happy that I'd done it right from the beginning. It felt like a sigh of relief, even though leading up to it was incredibly hard. Yeah. Once I'd done it and once I'd left, things just fell into place really beautifully. And I'm very grateful about that.
I'm grateful too, because that's how we came to know each other, and little wise one was born through that whole process. After hearing Vicki share how she left a job that no longer aligned with her, you might be feeling that quiet pull too, the one that says it's time. If you're standing at a crossroads and not sure where to begin, I created the Blueprint to Thrive for you. It's a complete personalized experience designed to help you reconnect with your worth, clarify your vision, and map out a life that feels aligned, joyful, and truly yours. You'll receive a guided pre-session questionnaire to help you reflect and get clear, followed by a 90-minute one-to-one coaching session with me, where we will co-create your next chapter with confidence, clarity, and heart. And to celebrate the launch of Her Brave Story podcast, I'm offering Blueprint to Thrive for 50% off until May 15th or until spots fill. Please visit herbravestorypodcast.com to book your session. Let this be your brave next step. I love this, and I think that's really powerful when women do connect deeply to that inner voice. Can you let me know, were you already connected to that, or was that an even higher level of you connecting to source or to intuition or to yourself in that moment that led to that kind of courage as well?
Yeah, I've always been, I think, had a very strong faith, and I know my intuition is getting stronger as I get older, but even as and it's not until now as an older person that I'm sitting back and thinking about stories and things that had happened in my life that I'm thinking, wow, that was faith, or that was just determination, or whatever, however you want to put it. But now I know that that was my inner knowing. There was a time when I was, I think, 18, and I was living down south where I went to school. I was not happy there and I wanted to move. And a friend and I decided that we wanted to move somewhere away from where we were. And we knew that all the spunks at the time lived between the Gold Coast and Byron Bay. So we literally closed our eyes and pointed to the map and landed on Tweed Head. So we moved here. And that's how,
that's how much trust you had.
That's how much trust. But when I look back, there's plenty of those stories. So many of those stories that, I mean, I know as a young person, you do things anyway without thinking about it. But as, reflecting on that as at this age, I think, no, I just knew. Yeah, I can own that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so powerful as well to be in deep alignment with yourself and to trust whatever decision you make at that moment, to say, that's the one. You're not going back to the drawing board and going over it and over. Here are the things that could happen, and here are the
Yeah.
you know, which is powerful sometimes. And at the same time, the power of making a decision quickly, knowing in yourself that you are equipped enough to make that decision.
That's right. And that's all part of the mindfulness things too, is I've got a rocking chair method that I love to think about. So I imagine myself as an older person sitting on a rocking chair reflecting on my life. And I think, so this is a pivotal time. Do I want to regret this decision, or do I want to say, wow, that wasn't that wonderful? I'm glad I made that choice. And I know that we make mistakes, going forward. Everyone makes mistakes. That's how we learn. But yeah, I often use that rocking chair method. It makes me feel really good that I made that choice. What now?
I love that too. Really golden things that when you just felt it, you did it. And then if you ever were undecided, testing it with the process of the rocking chair method.
Yes.
Did it
Yeah.
pass the test? Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
And take us then back to you've left your job. You have no idea what's next, but you know that staying there is not the way. And you're asked to leave. So there are hard things after the decision is made, after you're in alignment with what you want. It wasn't just an easy path.
Well, it was in the way that I had long service. So
Yeah. Oh, great.
that took a huge weight off my shoulders, because I had that to fall back on. So that in itself was a lot less pressure. I could pay rent, and
Right.
I could get by. So, but I knew, so what I did was I thought, right, let's start what I've been teaching and wanting to teach. I went to do become accredited for my yoga teaching, and I realized that the course I did was over 20 years old, so I needed to upgrade. So I had the opportunity to do that. I did a mindfulness course, which was amazing. So I did that as well. And then I sat talking with another couple of teachers that had left, and they said, this is what we want to do. This is, we want to create a space for families and for children to come together, and there might be all kinds of different things in this space. And within, I think it was even the second day, I met a woman who said, oh, I've just bought this studio, don't know what I'm going to do with it, but do you want to come and have a look at it? And so that's how we started. And it was just like that.
So in fact, maybe it was easier than thought. And
Absolutely.
There was a lot of synchronicity I'm hearing in that decision.
Yes.
The power of that decision opened up new doors, and you kept going forward into them.
Yeah. And it wasn't until, because I actually let go, that I was able to be shown all these other things. Yeah, for sure.
With that, is there something that you could share that was, so the rocking chair method, that's something you can use, trusting yourself, because what I hear is that you made that decision, you didn't spend a lot of time. So for somebody who might be in a hard decision-making place right now, who's listening, anybody who's listening who's saying, I have a decision like that to make, but I'm scared to make that decision because I don't have any fallback, but I have something telling me that it could not be to stay in the thing. I need to make a new choice. Do you have any tips or advice or even mindfulness tips around how someone might get in touch with their inner knowing?
I think I'm just making space for it. And, yes, going out in nature and taking a step back from the situation. And I use my sister, she's my angel. That's what I think. So I sometimes think, well, what do you see? So we sit there together, up here together, and have a look and peruse the space. So that's how a lot of the time I work. But I just trust myself now that it's not easy if this is not something that you're used to doing. You can sometimes think, well, this time next year, where do I want to be? So if this is the space I want to be in, if this is where I want to be, I work backwards and think, okay, to be here, I need to do this, this, and this, and this, and start small steps to get me to that. I was a major Tony Robbins fan in the 90s.
Love you, Tony.
yeah, for sure. So I've got all of that in me anyway, NLP and all of that stuff. And it's, there's a lot of layers. So, and I've just found myself drawing onto all different things. So that's how I kind of work backwards. It's hard. It's a matter of just for somebody stepping out into it, do the things that you need to find out what you really want.
Mm,
Yeah,
beautiful. And the first thing you said was getting into nature.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How powerful. Just,
Making the space, like
yeah.
we're busy, we're so busy. Um, and I think it's really important that we make a plan, we get to make the choices of how our day runs. So there's an intentional thought that you run your day, don't let your day run you.
Oh, I
So,
love
yeah.
that. I love that. Yeah. You run your day. Don't let your day run you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And any tips for that? How to run your day?
Set your intention. Yeah. I
Mm,
always start
hmm
my day with gratitude. As soon as I wake up, it's gratitude and the intention for the day. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
It
beautiful.
doesn't always work, but you can keep coming back to it. And that's the great thing. Yeah.
And so with your cards, I just want to get these out because these are actually useful for setting an intention as
Yeah,
well, couldn't
absolutely.
they?
Yeah.
Because so the card deck is as I have here inside this beautiful box. Vicki actually has these beautiful cards, and they all have a saying on them. And the one that I picked out for today is I use courage to try new things.
Yes.
I use courage to try new things. Isn't that so beautiful?
Yeah. The illustrations were all hand painted by two local artists, two local Byron girls, and they're all based on Bundjalung country where we are. So it was really important when I had the words, but they had to put the illustrations together. And so I remember them saying that they went and sat on the beach and watched, and listened to, got their intuition from there and what their inspiration would be. And then they went for a walk in the bush. So there's so many layers. And then they presented us with these illustrations and we said, what do you think? And it was like, yes, they got it. They get it. Yeah,
So intentional and inclusive as well
absolutely.
of everyone and very aware of that we are on Bundjalung country
Yes.
here. And they are the traditional custodians of this land. And for those who don't have this, the little book comes with the cards. And one of the things I love that you've included here, Vicki, is what this I use courage to try new things means to children
Yes.
across the work that you've been doing. And one of these on the top here, it says for this particular card, it says being brave means you get up and try again.
Yes.
And that's from Ezra, age 4, or he's
Yeah,
age 4.
he was only 4 at the time. So with the children's voices are incredibly important to me. They always have been, and that's how the wisdom of their words. That's how the brand pretty much unfolded. And so I found when I started this, I used to write down what children would say when I was working in preschool or different environments. And because I just loved what they'd say, I would keep them, stick them in my pocket. At the end of the day, I'd have all these scrap pieces of paper. And when I came to write the cards, I hadn't forgotten about it, but I found a folder with scrap pieces of paper in them, and it all was just, it fell into place so beautifully.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I love that. So nothing is lost. If we're inspired, I'm hearing too, like if you're inspired by something, it's okay to hang on to it for another moment that might bring back some inspiration or actually lead to another creative project.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no wasted ideas.
Oh, I love that. No wasted ideas on that flow, because we're talking about the children that you worked with. There's also the people that work with children. And can you tell us about your latest project, a Mindful Child Educators Program?
Yeah, so it's only just launched. It's been 2 years in the making since I decided to start writing a program. I had been contacted since we started Little Wise One, and I started the classes because we've got Instagram, and so people from all over get to see what we do, which is exciting. And I've been contacted by educators and yoga teachers and um, parents that we've inspired, which is amazing, and saying, "How do we do what you do?" And so I thought, wow, okay. The biggest challenge for me, I think, was putting 30 years of in my head onto paper. Because when you do something like this every day, I sing all day long. So if I want a child to listen that maybe having struggle, I sing, and I sing instructions, and I sing, and it's just joyful and it's fun. The children respond beautifully. So it's hard to do, even to put that on paper. So yes, for 2 years we've been sitting there trying to work it out. And it's a 10-week program. It's a starting block. So if you're an educator, you could pull out bits and pieces. There's yoga stories, there's mindfulness games, there's how to regulate, self-regulation, things for children. It's really about empowering the educator or the parent to support the children. And there's many, many things in it. There's lots of layers within it too. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's so exciting.
It really is. It's I felt incredibly vulnerable creating something like this at times that and just, you go to share something with other people and sometimes you get really great supporting responses and sometimes you don't. And so, you learn to block all those, which is, I can do that. But I just think that, I'm a big fan of Brené Brown too, and she says the magic happens when you're in the arena, not watching from the stands. So she's my inspo for this one.
Love that. And you're right in the arena.
Absolutely.
And you have been for a long time now.
Yeah.
Even as an educator in the system, you're still in the arena. Yeah. You're out there, you're facing the world. And then to take it to a next level, I guess you get closer to the center of the arena. Taking so many brave steps to get there. Vicki, can you tell me a little bit more about a Mindful Child Educators program?
Part of the program, things that are available in the program is one-on-one coaching. So it'll be whether it's you get to come to one of my classes and we can go through it that way, or I can come to your centre and run the educators through. We can do workshops or we can do Zoom calls one-on-one like that.
Amazing. So you're saying being one-on-one is an important part of your work?
Well, it's all written there in the book. Unless you are, it's for somebody that's just starting out. They might look at it, and I've written it as with the most explanations that you can, about the moves, and there's the whys that we do things, the how and the why of everything that we do is all in the program as well. We've tried to make it so anyone can just pick it up and go, yep, this is how we do it. However, the people that have contacted me through social media and things have said, I want to teach it in my classes. I want to start what you're doing. So that's when those one-on-one coaching and ideas and tips will come in handy as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. And you also working with children face to face. So that's an empowering part of your work, is keeping that human connection alive.
My favorite part. That's what I do there. That's my heart. Working with those children. Yeah. They give you so much joy. Yeah.
Parents could also use this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends. It's parenting is not easy.
Thank you for saying that.
I must acknowledge every parent. It's not easy. There are incredibly magic moments for sure, but it's not easy. And it's what I try and remind parents, and little bits and pieces of this throughout the program as well, but just in general, is that you have to remember that these children, like preschool age, have only been on this earth, this planet, for such a short time. So when you put that big picture into perspective, it just changes the way we think about it and helps us meet the children where they're at. Yes, they've got the vocab. Some children have got the vocab, and they say some incredibly amazing things, but that whole emotional intelligence is still yet to mature in many cases. So we just have that understanding. Sometimes we just need to stop and think about that for a bit.
That's such a valuable...
We expect a lot from them. Yeah.
Oh, well, once people start talking, suddenly our expectations go up. I found that with myself as my son's vocabulary increased. It was my expectations of his intellect increased and his emotional intelligence and all these things that were at sometimes probably not age appropriate. it was just being a first-time parent, you're learning. And what I hear you say is that children are developing rapidly, and some of the children in here are writing things that are multiple sentences long, and they're quite young, and some of the other ones are quite short, and they're a little bit older. So that development is also unique in itself.
Absolutely. Yeah. But as a parent, nobody knows your child better than you do. And so you get to grow in your parenting when your children grow as themselves. It's I think it's an honor to be a parent for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is. And I was thinking about my son has said all these different beautiful things as he's grown. Now he's 6, but probably around 3, he said to me, Mom, push me higher. And I said, okay, on the swing, I'm pushing him higher. He's like, I want to go high as the night.
Yeah. Oh, see?
And I was like, oh, me too. Can I go high as the night?
Yeah.
Some of the phrases, the ways that we can partner words are so beautiful and innocent and eloquent as well at this stage. So it is really beautiful that you were able to save some of those poems, really, those haikus or those wisdom bombs from the children, and then take it into this work and now be able to release it and help parents and educators be even more mindful and kind as well. Because I want to bring that into this conversation too, that kindness is a big part of the work that you do.
Yeah, and self-compassion for yourself. I think there are times that you slip into old habits, but emotional well-being is a lifelong journey. So you have to have a little bit of compassion for yourself. It's it can bring you back to center and, remind yourself, okay, it's okay. Like bring yourself back to that moment, sitting up tall. Where's my posture? How am I breathing? Even driving the car. It's just those little bits of moments that you get to choose. And that reminds you then, I think it filters onto that compassion for yourself. And then you can be a kind of person because I don't know, that's how I work it, that you're centered and you're a little bit more grounded. And yeah, with the self-compassion, it's like you make a mistake, you get to have that moment again. It's okay. Or not that moment, but, try again. I have a thing with the children, hands together, thumbs on heart. Every moment is a brand new start. So
hands together,
thumbs on
heart.
Every moment is a brand new start.
Oh, I love that.
So that's a really good one for parents because especially when children have got really big emotions and they're just might be losing it at that time and you might not react in the way that you would want to, or you might in reflection think, okay, maybe I could do this better next time. That's a little fun reminder.
Yeah, beautiful reminder for parents and ourselves. Great way to start the day as well in that space. And with the educators program, a Mindful Child Educators program, I hear you say that there's people around the world who are interested in your work, who are now going to be able to take this out into whatever work they're doing. And you gave some examples of, say, people who are working with movement with children, yoga, or people who are working even in school systems. Or can you tell us a little bit more about who this program might be good for?
Well, it can be for in the school system. I actually teach this. These are my Little Wise One classes. So you come along and the structure of the class is the same, but every week there's something different. So it might be a different theme. We have a connection theme or a superhero theme, or, they're all different themes and you can change it up. So we always start with an intention. So the children have hands on earth and they say a little welcome acknowledgement of themselves, and we acknowledge country, even the 2-year-olds. Then we, welcome each other. We start with a warm-up and we'll do a bit of free dance. We might do some self-regulation little games that they don't realise, but I always remind the parents this is really good if they're feeling icky, or I tell the children this is really if you're feeling icky or you're feeling nervous. There's those kind of things. There's some yoga in it. There might be a yoga story. We do, what else do we do? There's so many different components within a class. We always finish with the gratitude and relaxation. And we pass around the talking stick so the children get to say what they're grateful for. Just those things, and acknowledging and teaching these children. I've had parents say that they have that gratitude and sharing the love energy, which we do as another little game that we do, and they do it in their homes now, which is really great. So the structure of the class is the same, but there's 10 different weeks of different things to put in each component. So you can pull it out or use bits and pieces, different warm-ups, different meditations, different stories, different music. There's a playlist that I can share.
Wow. And yeah, on that, I have a question for you with the playlist. So with you, I think I told you this question, but
Yeah.
Do you have a go-to song or anthem that you use to get yourself in state, as one might say, to
I
state?
was sharing this question with my daughters, and they were just going, "Oh, Mum!" Like, so I've got a playlist that's called "Vibe is High." That's my playlist. But I sing on the beach in the mornings when I'm walking, and I sing loudly. I've got my headphones on, but sometimes I look behind me just in case. But I just love to sing, and I'm not a singer, but it just brings me so much joy. And so I've got a couple of alarms that I wake up to. It's My Life by Bon Jovi.
It's my life.
So when you wake up to that at 5 o'clock, it's hilarious. But it's really just because words are important to me, like lyrics of the songs. So I love the lyrics more so than anyway, they're really important to me. I've also got, what's the song? Michael Bublé, Feeling Good. That's also on one of my alarms, and I'm feeling, I won't sing it. So that's a really funny one. It just cracks me up when I wake up to that. And lately I've rediscovered Robbie Williams' Love My Life, because I love the words in that song. I'm powerful, I'm beautiful, I am free. And I just love the chorus in that. So it changes all the time. As far as a song and an anthem, it just changes. But they're the ones that really get me going, help me get motivated for my day.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Very powerful, powerful songs, and in alignment with your mindfulness of the words too, knowing that what we're listening to has an impact
Absolutely.
on how we're going to go through our day.
Yeah. Yeah. The power of intention. Yeah.
Power of intention. So beautiful. So Vicki, as a woman, many of us struggle with self-doubt especially when we're starting something new. Is there something that you wish you knew then that you know now for women who are having self-doubt in starting something new?
Time. Time and faith. I think faith in yourself, sometimes that's really hard to come by, and unless you do the work. I remember one time there was something, a really, really big life change for me. It's one of those on the floor rocking kind of moments. And I had read a quote just before it. It said, "No one's coming to save you." And at the time, it was like a big thing. And I thought, what? What do you mean no one's coming to save you? But it actually got me up off the floor at that time and thought, okay, I get to choose. What do I do now? And so as far as your question, sorry, would you repeat your question? I'm sorry.
You're going right along with it. It's, as women, many of us face self-doubt when starting something new. And if there was something that you learned along the way, or that you wish you knew then that you do know now.
Yeah. Finding the people that will support you, your biggest, your circle of friends, and let them know that you need that support. That was a big one. Baby steps. It's okay. Like, move forward. Just keep moving forward. There's lots of things that happen I think for women especially in their world, and especially as you get older, big life changes happen.
There's some wisdom drops there that are really important for all of us to remember, including the support system, that it's incredibly important for us not to be isolated in our struggles, to connect with other women and to connect with your community, to your support group, your family, or to the people who you can rely on in those moments when you are having those floor moments where when I hear you, you're saying, I'm shaking on the floor. I think we can all know that close to a dark night of the soul, when you just don't know how you're going to get through it, and it seems like there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's right. But it's this too shall pass is another thing that I kept saying to them. Mantras are big for me, and the words, I'm constantly got little mantras when I wake up in the morning, when I go to bed, before I fall asleep. So there's lots that I've used over the years. but this too will pass. I remember saying that over and over and over again. And it's just something for you to have a focus on, even if your body isn't feeling it right at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just sometimes I think your brain needs to tell you a story. It has to have a story. And so unless you give it one, it's going to make up something really bad from what I know anyway. It can make up a story way worse than what's actually happening. And so by giving it something to think about, this too will pass, this too will pass, this too will pass, or whatever mantra or words you choose, it's a story that you're stopping the worst case scenario in your head at that time. That's what works for me.
Yeah, well, I love it. And it's works for others too. And there's neuroscience to support what you're saying right now as well, that the negative self-talk that actually just slips in unregulated, whereas the positivity is an active process.
That's exactly right. And I remember thinking one time after I told myself a story that was just not, I knew it wasn't the reality. I thought, wow, I'm very good at storytelling. That's not real. And I knew that. So I was able to then bring myself back to that moment to understand that wasn't actually happening. And that's worst case scenario. And the chances of that happening is very, very slim. So, I got a laugh out of that. Yeah.
I love that. It's deep self-awareness as well,
yes,
Vicki.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To have that. And are there practices that you have every day that myself or someone listening, our listeners, might be able to use to help them become even more aware or compassionate toward themselves in times, either when they're parenting or just having that moment where they need some extra love?
I think just making that space for whether it's for yourself, sometimes with children, if they're having big feelings and things, all you need to do is just sit down next to your child and, give them a little touch or a gentle touch just to say, hey, I'm here. You might not have much else to do to be able to give them at that time, but that's sometimes all they might need. And it's actually by you sitting next and connecting on that level with your children, it actually helps you calm, and it does help the children feed off that energy for sure. So that might be all you need. So space, definitely space for yourself, and just know that it's just a moment in time. There'll be other moments. You might be able to do it differently next time.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. There'll be other moments and you might be able to do it differently next time.
Yeah.
That is so powerful because it leaves the opportunity there on the table too.
Yeah.
To say, hey, this isn't it,
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
And don't we all need a little bit of that when the moments come?
Yeah. Well, this is it right now, but this isn't the way it's always going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mm.
You get to choose.
Oh, that the power is within you in this moment. Choosing it.
That's on one of the cards. The only moment is this one. That was the very first card that I wrote, and it's one of my favorites. And it's I have it on my wall. It's just one of my favorite. I've got a T-shirt. Yeah. It's just one of my favorites. It's a beautiful reminder, and I say it a lot.
Yes, it's true as well.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful to see that you've come on this journey not knowing exactly where it would lead, but really it brought everything. I think you said earlier that nothing is wasted in these experiences where not only the scribblings that you had of these beautiful moments that the children had shared this wisdom with you, but your whole life is building and is worth savoring and holding on to the beautiful moments as you move forward, because you don't know where or how these little like jigsaw puzzles or mantras might fit in.
Absolutely. And it's you just don't know where the world is going, like what the universe is going to present to you, or whichever way you want to look at it, what's around the corner, all of those kind of things. Like I never thought, I'm in my 60s, I never thought that I would be writing a children's program and launching something like this now. I couldn't even have imagined that, but I'm pretty excited that I have.
I absolutely love that. I love that. And my mentor, Dr. Claire Zammit, she says women's greatest work happens between the ages of 60 and 80.
Yeah. I feel amazing since I turned 60. Like it's been a whole new joyful time. And I never imagined that. I remember thinking about my parents when I was 60 and thinking, oh my God. But all of a sudden you have the honor to be here because it is a privilege. Yeah. So it comes quickly.
Yes.
But yeah, so I don't think about that as an age as anything. In my head, I've got a 35 in my head, and I just think, I know I'm not, but I think it helps keep me younger internally.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you're
Yeah,
vivacious as well. Anybody who
yeah,
comes into contact with you, and those of you listening now, I'm sure you can hear Vicki is vivacious. And if you tune in and you see us on YouTube, you'll be able to see that as well. You're healthy, strong. You look like you're living a beautiful, healthy life.
yeah. I'm incredibly grateful for what I get to do. Yeah, and who I am becoming. I acknowledge that, and that's a huge thing to learn, to acknowledge and celebrate and honor yourself. I actually did a women's speak course, and that's what their biggest focus was, and it taught me a lot to celebrate yourself, which you don't often do.
It's so true and it's so powerful. I love that. I keep a list of my wins.
Yes.
Yeah, because there have been times when I don't remember those wins,
Yeah.
and they're mental wins now. But I have a physical list too that I have up because it can be easy to forget the greatness of ourselves
Yeah.
in the tiring moments or the moments of frustration or grief or overwhelm that
That's
come.
right. And that's all part of, I think, too, with the rocking chair story. It's like I was reflecting just with the cards. And when my children were small, Tori, my youngest, was only 6. Because I used to encourage the children to make a present for the teacher at the end of the year, not buy one. And so she made a deck of affirmation cards. She drew the pictures, she wrote the words. I had them laminated at the time and put them in a little box, and she put a ribbon on it and we gave it to the teachers. And that was like I've still got them. Beautiful, beautiful gift. And that was all from her. And then I remember when Little Wise One cards came about, that same school chose to buy them for their classrooms. And it was a full circle moment. And I was standing in the same spot that I remember her as a 6-year-old walking up to give them to the teacher. And I just delivered them to the teacher in the classroom now. And it was just a full circle moment. So it's those kind of things that happen in your world that you get to celebrate the little things, but they just mean so much. Yeah, the full circle moments.
Wow, that's incredible. And your daughter is in partnership with you with Little Wise
Yeah,
Ones too.
yeah, she
Yeah.
does all that beautiful marketing and the way it's beautifully presented.
And
Yeah,
it is so beautifully presented.
she's very clever.
Yes. Well, what a
Yeah,
great team, a mother-daughter team. What a great
yeah.
team to support. For those who don't know where to find your work, where can people find you, Vicki?
We're on Instagram. We're hello@littlewiseone.com. That's about it. We were on Facebook. We're not really doing much on there at the moment. It's hard to get through on Facebook. And just mainly through Instagram, I think, and on our website. Yeah.
Beautiful. And the educators program and the cards are available through
Yes,
your
all there on
website.
our website. We've got also affirmation teas. We've got actually adding a few little collections things. We've got some beautiful gift cards now. They're absolutely beautiful. Just for a bit of inspo, if you wanted to give somebody who's having a tough time or needed a little bit of inspiration. So we've got those online now too. We've got some prints for children's bedrooms or for offices of the affirmations. We've got the cards. We've got the program. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
It's so exciting. And I feel like you're just getting started, Vicki. Like there's still stuff to come from Vicki.
It feels like it. I don't know what, but that's okay. I'll just wait and see.
Yeah, well, it's a huge endeavor that you've just done to create this a mindful child educators program.
Yes.
So to have that out, that's a huge success. And congratulations again on
Thank you.
getting that out into the world and
Yes.
collaborating with your daughter. It's just so beautiful. And the children who have
Yeah.
participated and the artists and everyone who
Yes.
you're including in
Yeah.
your work as well. Thank you, Vicki, for sharing with our listeners how they can connect with you and support your work. I'm going to also put the links in the show notes. So if anybody is listening now, please visit the page. You'll find the show notes with all the links for Vicki's work so you can connect with her and support her amazing work. We're so excited for you, Vicki.
Thank you. Thank you. It is a wonderful, exciting time. Yeah.
Incredibly so. And what's one message that you would leave with women who might be listening to this conversation right now? And anything that you'd like to leave with them that comes to mind or to your heart?
As soon as you said that, it's not what I thought I would say, but it's okay to step into the unknown. Just came to my head then. So I'll leave with that.
Vicki Schaefer. Mic drop moment. Thank you, Vicki. It's been an absolute delight to have you here. So much wisdom and gold. I can't wait to re-listen to this actually and take notes. As in going along, I took some notes, but I can't wait to go back. I'm so grateful to have got to share some of your story, your incredibly brave story here.
Thank you.
The Her Brave Story podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. This is the bravest thing I think I've done, is sharing this, but you've made it easy and it's been wonderful to talk to you. So thank you.
It's an absolute delight. You're a natural. Vicki, I can't wait to see more of your work and your voice out in the world. Thank you. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining our circle today. I trust that these lessons encourage mindfulness and compassion, spark something within you, helping you to grow your greatness and reminding you that you are never alone on this journey. If Vicki's story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs it. And if you feel called, subscribe or leave a review. It helps other amazing women like you find our circle and amplifies the voices of women rising. To dive deeper into today's episode, including Vicki's Mindful Child Educators program, her beautiful affirmation cards, and special offers from our partners, head to herbravestorypodcast.com. You'll find the link in the show notes, along with guest links, resources, a blueprint to thrive, and so much more. I'll be right here waiting for you next time you hit play, with a smile and your weekly dose of Her Brave Story, because women's stories matter. Until then, remember that you're worth it, and thrive on, brave soul.